everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the greenhouse effect. I'm going to show you a little do-it-yourself at-home activity to model the greenhouse effect, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what is it, why do we talk about it, and what does it have to do with climate change and global warming. So, if you're going to try this at home, you're definitely going to want it to be a warm, sunny day. You may not be able to control that, but don't worry, I'm going to show you the experiment right here in my own home. And you're going to need a couple things: 2 jars, a piece of plastic of any kind. You could use a plastic bag, a saran wrap, a Ziploc bag, anything that is plastic that can cover the mouth of the jar. You're also going to need a rubber band or something to tie the plastic around the jar, and you're going to need a thermometer of sorts. The experiment is fairly straightforward. You're going to place the empty jar with no lid on it in the sun with a thermometer inside of it, and you're going to wait 5 to 10 minutes. You're going to want to take a recording of the temperature at the beginning and then a recording of the temperature 5 to 10 minutes later. Just make sure you use the same amount of time with both jars, or you do both experiments at the same time if you have more than one thermometer. On your second glass, you are going to cover the jar with saran wrap. Figure out how you're going to put your thermometer in there, and you're going to use the rubber band to hold the plastic covering over the jar in place. And you're going to wait, again, 5 to 10 minutes, making sure that you mark the temperature at the beginning and take the temperature again at the end so you know how much the temperature has changed. So these 2 jars are going to help you model the greenhouse effect. Now let's take a look at that data we collected from our mini greenhouse experiment. So our glass with no cover started at 80.1 degrees Fahrenheit and ended at 88.7 degrees Fahrenheit, giving it an overall change in temperature of just 8.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Now our glass with the cover started at 76.1 degrees Fahrenheit and ended at 90.6 degrees Fahrenheit, giving it an overall change of 14.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So the jar that was covered retained more heat than the jar that wasn't covered. So what is that telling us about what we've learned about greenhouse gases? Well, for that, we're going to take it to the drawing board. So in our experiment, we covered a jar with a piece of plastic and stuck the thermometer inside. Now what we were trying to create a model of is the atmosphere that's surrounding the Earth. Now the atmosphere itself helps keep us warm. So warming is not a bad thing, it's a natural thing that we need. Without our atmosphere, the temperature of Earth would be about 0. We wouldn't be able to live here. So this greenhouse effect is a naturally occurring process that allows the Earth to maintain and retain the heat it gets from the sun. It keeps us from getting too hot and it keeps us from getting too cold. So the sun itself is pouring down its radiation and its heat, and its light comes into our atmosphere. Some of that radiation and some of that heat is bounced back off into space, and some of it comes through our atmosphere, where it's then sort of bounced between the Earth and the atmosphere and helps keep our Earth nice and cozy and the right temperature for us to survive. So what's the problem exactly with the greenhouse effect? Well, if it was just this, there wouldn't be a problem because we needed to live. However, humans are in effect making too much what we call greenhouse gases. These are going to make the atmosphere more dense, almost, all right? So it's gonna capture more heat than necessary. There's a certain amount of heat that needs to be able to be released back into space. However, all of these greenhouse gases that we have going on from things like car emissions and farming, these things are making too much heat stay in. So this comes to the greenhouse effect, which would say that because of the things we are doing here on Earth that are putting more greenhouse gases into our atmosphere, we are then trapping too much heat from the sun, and that is causing a warming on Earth. So it's that warming that becomes problematic. Now, global warming in and of itself isn't all of climate change. Global warming is simply a symptom of climate change. The greenhouse effect is what helps maintain life on Earth. However, by adding too many greenhouse gases into our atmosphere from things that humans are doing, we are increasing the temperature on Earth, because by adding those extra greenhouse gases, we're stopping heat from being released back out into space. So in effect, we're warming up Earth too much.